A very different picture shaping up down towards the Florida Keys and the south and even central Florida area. Here comes Tropical Storm Fred, bringing very heavy tropical downpours, also that severe weather threat to South Florida over the next couple of days, and very heavy rainfall. Some spots are forecast to pick up close to 10 inches of rain through the weekend from Fred. Of course, they are on that east side of the storm, the right side. That's the side where you typically experience all those tropical downpours and also that potential for severe weather. Fred is forecast to stay over the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. So while the latest forecast trend of Fred does show that this storm won't gain quite as much strength as originally anticipated over the last couple of days, it is still forecast to strengthen as it makes its way closer to the panhandle of Florida, since that center of circulation is going to stay over water. Notice by Sunday, maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour as it gets closer to the Tampa coast, and then makes its way closer to Pensacola, potentially making a landfall along the Florida panhandle by the overnight hours on Monday, maybe even later Monday morning. As it makes its way inland, it does look like it's going to fall apart very quickly, and that will work in our favor. Of course, that will prevent us from experiencing any kind of tropical storm force conditions. Of course, more than likely, we will be on the right side of the storm, so we will experience a good bit of heavy rainfall. Also, you can't completely rule out that potential for severe weather, including that brief spin-up tornado threat. I did put an X along the center of both the Euro and the GFS, so that does keep the center again to our west, closer to the Alabama and Georgia line, so we will fall on that right side of the storm. Now, could this change? Absolutely, but the general consensus is that the storm will pass off to our west, potentially as a tropical depression. Still will bring us that potential for some very heavy rainfall. Again, maybe that severe weather threat. When it comes to our wind gust values, thankfully those do look to stay below tropical storm limits. The Euro a little more aggressive with rainfall, looking anywhere between 1 to 2 inches of rain, with higher totals possible west of Macon. The GFS is looking at a widespread 1 to maybe 1 3/4 of an inch of rain, with again those isolated higher totals to the west of Macon. Tropical storm force conditions not looking likely. We're looking at maybe 15 to 20 mile per hour wind gusts with isolated higher gusts south and west of Macon. Your 7-day show is very summer-like the next few days, and then all eyes are on Fred come the start of next work week. Don't forget, as we continue to monitor the progression of Tropical Depression Fred, be sure you have the 13 WMAZ app. It's free in the App Store or in Google Play. You can also scan the square on the bottom of your screen. That will take you right to the app. Be sure that you go to the settings and turn on the notifications so that you can get alerts every time we update you on the progression of Tropical Depression Fred.